Hello, Chair. Just doing a mic check, and we are live on YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Just testing my audio.
I can hear you fine.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry. That's
Check in on your audio, Commissioner Brooke.
I am here.
Perfect.
Chair Robinson, thank you.
We are live and we're just waiting for one more. Okay, looks like we have all the commissioners are going to be on here, but we still have about 4 minutes before we can start the meeting.
Eric, can I do a sound check? This is Lee in Region 1.
This is Commissioner Robinson. We can hear you fine.
Thank you.
All right, it's 2 o'clock and we'll get started. I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the review. And Mr. Wakeling, are you the one that's going to give us the update?
Madam Chair, that
Okay.
is correct.
Okay. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, I think I'll offer legal counsel Sarah Clagett opportunity to introduce.
Okay, thank you.
Chair and Commission, this obviously Sarah, and I just wanted to remind you of the same things I've said at the beginning of all of these meetings. We get these together as fast as we can, and I really appreciate you all making time. I know that this isn't your full-time job, and we worked really hard to get both everybody here and coordinate schedules, and then also to make sure we had enough public time to let the public know this meeting was happening. So, and thanks to Eric too for working that out. I know these meetings are hard to schedule. So, with that said, the options are as they always are. You can first make a decision on whether to leave the quota where it is, given the information Mr. Wakeling's going to give you. You can decide to close based on that information, or you can decide to modify the quota. If you take no action, then you need no public comment, and therefore the meeting can end at that point. If you do decide that you are going to either close or modify from what the original regs say, then you'll need to have public comment with the seconded motion.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the commission. Just a real quick overview. The wolf seasons were set as part of the overall trapping regulations that involved both wolf hunting and trapping. That was concluded in August of this past year of 2023. At that time, the commission established a series of quotas. Those quotas were established for each of the regions. Region 3 differed in that it also had a subset, Wolf Management Unit 313, that was separate. We've conducted reviews already for Wolf Management Unit 313 and for Region 3. At the time that the commission established and approved those seasons, part of the season, kind of a paradigm that the commission adopted with that was that for the current year, when we approached within 25% of the harvest quotas for the harvest approached the quota within 25% within regions 1, 2, or 3, they would convene for this review. That step was in addition to anything the commission was required to do. The commission could have simply established a quota and moved on, but they chose to put this review in place to give the opportunity to kind of see where we are in relation to our quotas and where we are, how soon we are towards close of the season, just kind of an overview of the season compared to prior season. And so what I'll do right now is just give you a real quick overview of where we are in response to regions 1 and 2. Region 1 is currently at 104 harvested wolves. The quota that was established for that is 131. So that's 79% of the harvest. Within Region 2, we're currently at 76 animals harvested with a quota of 104. So we're approaching that 75%. We're at 73% there. Just to give you a sense of where we were last year at approximately the same time. And this data poll that I'm going to share with you now was pulled on February 5th. So 4 days ago. It's pretty close to where we are today. At that point, Since that point, we've harvested 6 more wolves in Region 1, and we've harvested 3 more wolves in Region 2. But comparing Region 1 and 2 on February 5th of this year versus February 5th of last year, Region 1 has harvested, as of February 5th, 98 wolves, and on February 5th, a year ago, they had harvested 66 wolves. Overall, the season, for the entire season, in Region 1, we harvested 91 wolves. This year, trapper and hunting harvest has increased, and most of that occurred after about January 1st. A lot of reasons that people can speculate for that coincidence. That was obviously when trapping season opened for this year, but there was also some hunting harvest that accelerated. It also coincided with some of the onset of winter this year, as it had compared with previous years, like last year where it had kind of occurred a little earlier. Region 2 had been at 73 harvested on February 5th of this year. On February 5th of last year, it was at 63. Overall, it was a total harvest of 91. While there's also been an increase in harvest in Region 2, it has not been as marked as what it has been in Region 1. Region 1 had a substantially increased rate of harvest after January 1. In Region 2, most of the harvest this year, let's say over 2/3 of it, has been as a result of hunter harvest. And in fact, the number of trapped animals this year in Region 2 at this point in time is lower than what it was last year. And so just kind of one of the questions that came up at the during the last review was kind of what the distribution of harvest looked like. And just real quickly, within Region 1, there's been 14 different deer elk units. So we look at the harvest by the region, but in order to look at the distribution, we try to break it out by the deer elk hunting districts. And so 14 different hunting districts have had wolves harvested within that. There's been a wide range of number of animals that have been taken in any one of them. It's been as low as 1 and as high as 21. One thing that might be of interest that kind of comes up is historically there was a wolf management unit around Glacier National Park, Wolf Management Unit 110, that had a relatively low harvest quota there, as well as what it had been in 313. However, currently within we don't have a way of detecting exactly how many of those wolves were harvested within that currently, but there's 3 deer elk hunting districts that encompass what used to be Wolf Management Unit 110. Within those 3 hunting districts, we've had 2 harvested in one, 6 harvested in another, and 4 harvested in the third. So for a total of 12 wolves harvested surrounding Glacier National Park. It's important to point out that those hunting districts extend substantially further away from Glacier National Park than what Wolf Management Unit 110 used to be. So it's not directly comparable, but it gives you an idea of what the harvest around there looks like. Also within Region 2, we've got 16 different hunting districts where wolves have been harvested. And again, that ranges anywhere from a single animal to 15 animals harvested within a single hunting district. And it's, some of the smaller ones are like hunting district 250 and 200, 260, some of those being closer to some of the human habitation. So with that, I'd be glad to try to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Tabor?
Madam Chair, Mr. Wakeling, I asked the same question I asked you when we were doing our review of Region 3. Is there anything about either the pattern or the results of where we are so far in either regions 1 or 2 that causes the department to want to recommend anything other than just staying the course and fulfilling the quotas?
Madam Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, I will note that the harvest rate increased this year after opening of trapping season. That said, we are still below the quota. The quota that was recommended, and even while the commission did amend that, the department's recommendation, the harvest, if it met that quota, is going to keep the population on a decreased trajectory, and is certainly within the range of population that's either been that we've had legislative direction to meet, and also well above what the minimum for delisting that through the federal regulations that were earlier on before wolves were delisted. So just looking at where this is a long-winded way of saying no, the department does not have any concerns with where things are going. One thing I might point out that when we get to season setting next year, the timing of the harvest is something that's critical when we look at population estimates and trajectories. The IPOM model estimates the population as of December 31st. And so prior to January 1st, we probably saw somewhat of a reduced harvest this year over what we had originally predicted. And so it might suggest that our harvest was lighter. However, when we look at the overall season, we're exactly where we plan to be, and the quotas are still stand at a place where we'll have a reasonable harvest that meets the trajectory that our management intentions were to achieve.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from the commissioners? Commissioner
Madam
Burrow?
Chair,
Go ahead.
just a comment. We spent a lot of time, at least I'll speak for Region 2, we spent a lot of time developing the quotas. There's a lot of public comment, and based on the information I've been given, I'm comfortable leaving Region 2 to where we're at, status quo.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right. I guess I'll ask if there are any motions, if anyone has any motions. Okay. With no action, then that will conclude our update, unless the FWP in Helena has, or Region 1, or anyone has any other input that they'd like to give us before we conclude. All right. Okay. Well, thank you, Brian, for the update. I appreciate it. And thank you, Eric, for getting this put together. And that will, I will adjourn our meeting.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Have a good
Goodbye.
rest of the
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you. Bye.